You're watching Newsx. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. Our big focus this hour, some breaking news coming in. CCTV footage is suggesting 22-year-old B Shiva Shankar was riding recklessly just before he collided with a luxury private bus on NH-44. Investigators have learned that this motorcycle had the same pillion rider who survived. The survivor also confirmed that their motorcycle skid off and the rider succumbed to injuries much before the private sleeper bus ran over the bike and dragged it underneath, causing the fire. Belly Thomas joins us for more on this story. Belly, talk us to this latest CCTV footage that is emerged.
Absolutely, Uday. So this particular CCTV footage has revealed to the investigating officials investigating this the Kurnool bus fire tragedy, stating that it was not the bus that hit the two-wheeler as such. So the CCTV footage is of that the rider along with the pillion rider coming with a bike into this petrol bunk to fill in some fuel, but since the petrol bunk staff were asleep, so they were seen there trying to wake them up, and since nobody was waking up, so this guy goes away from that petrol bunk by flipping his bike towards the other direction. And the way in which he was riding the bike is very obvious that he was reckless, and he was kind of in a drunken stupor if he can watch that footage. So this is the same rider and the pillion rider who has been questioned by the investigating officials, who confirmed that this bike had met with an accident on that National Highway 44 moments before. This Volvo bus, which was headed to Bengaluru from Hyderabad, ran over this particular bike that was already fallen on the road, and that was when the bike got stuck underneath the belly of this bus, and it was dragged for around 300 meters, and that has caused the fire due to the friction, is what fire and emergency officials as well as police investigating into this entire case tell us as of now there.
Yes, in fact, Vivek Menon, urban transport expert, also joins us on the broadcast. Vivek Menon, new CCTV footage emerging. What do you make of this new footage and the new revelation now regarding the bike and when the bike's incident happened?
Well, I think, safety is something that really needs to be prioritized on our highways, especially, I drive a lot of our highways, and I see that, a lot of the times, in fact, when there's construction around even, there aren't enough of signs indicating that there's construction. Now, of course, in this particular case, in this particular tragedy, it's very unfortunate that a bike was left lying on the road, if it did indeed was there for a while, and this bus just, rammed into it. Obviously, now the new details are revealing that it was not necessarily the driver's fault. But I think safety is something that has been compromised on a lot of our highways. And I think that really needs to be looked at very closely. Now, I was also given to understand that, the bus was carrying some amount of hazardous cargo in its hold, which is, could be, I think I've heard that was batteries and maybe even mobile phones. And these are all pretty flammable because they do have batteries that catch fire, and that's the reason why power banks are not allowed in aircraft even. They restrict the number of power banks that you have. So carrying flammable goods along with passengers should be banned, and I think the transport department really needs to clamp down on such violations of safety itself. Now, obviously, yes, it was probably not the driver's fault, but I think the transporting company should be held liable in some way, because at the end of the day, if you were transporting these and these were in the hold of the bus, and if you, see these new Volvos and others, they do have their entire luggage compartments at the bottom. And from what I've heard also, it was the people who were sleeping in the lower decks that have actually succumbed to injuries. So I think, there are a lot of violations that have probably happened within this accident itself, not necessarily pointing to the driver in this particular case, considering the fact that, lighting levels are relatively low on most of our highways, and it's only your headlights that kind of catch these things. So I think, yes, there is some, investigation that really needs to be done. And
absolutely.
of course,
and that, of course, is currently on. Okay, stay with us. More breaking news, in fact, now coming in. Investigation into the Kurnool bus fire case continues in Andhra Pradesh, and forensic experts have now suggested that the exploding batteries of the consignment of 234 smartphones inside the bus might have contributed to the intensity of the blaze that engulfed the bus. Is this an angle now, Belly, that the investigators are looking at, this consignment of 234 smartphones inside the bus?
Absolutely, Uday. So there was a parcel consignment of around 234 smartphones inside that bus, which was placed in the cargo section of that Volvo bus along. And these 234 phones worth around rupees 46 lakhs had batteries also within them, and this has exploded, and this has the inflammable cargo that it was carrying. This was sent by a businessman based in Hyderabad, identified as Manganath, to Bengaluru, so that it can be stored in the Flipkart warehouse, from where it could be delivered to its customers, is what sources say as. So this particular consignment of mobile phones, which were around 234 smartphones and their batteries, also would have contributed to this blast-like situation, is what the fire and emergency services as well as the police tells us. So as of now, the Director General of Police, Fire and Emergency Services, Andhra Pradesh, P. Venkatraman, has said that he also recollects seeing grim recollections of something melting down the bus, which was a liquidy thing. Initially, he thought it was some bone or human tissue, along with some inflammable things that was melting. But again, the experts pointed out that it was the plastic, and it was the batteries burst, the explosion, that has caused that kind of liquid fire dripping from underneath the bus when it caught on fire, Uday.
Okay, let me in fact also get in Bhaskar Rao now. Bhaskar Rao, is this something that the investigators need to look at now, as the investigation of